So you're just starting YouTube and you're looking for a new and affordable camera. You want to get your first mirrorless camera, but you don't want to have to sell a leg and a kidney in order to do so. Well, look no further than the original Sony ZV-E10 Mark I. And for just around $700, I think that this is the best camera that you can buy for the price. Hi, my name is Issa, and in this video, I'm going to explain to you why I think the original Sony ZV-E10 Mark I is probably the best purchasing decision that a new content creator can make when searching for a new camera. Now, my review is going to be broken down into 3 parts. The first part is why I think the ZV-E10 is so great. The second part is why I think the original ZV-E10 is better than the ZV-E10 Mark II. And the last part is if I think that you should buy the ZV-E10 in 2024. So without any further ado, let's get started. Okay, so the first reason why I think the ZV-E10 is so great is because it has amazing autofocus and amazing face and eye tracking. So that means that no matter where I move in the frame, the camera will always make sure I'm in focus when I have face and eye tracking on. And yeah, Sony cameras are known for having great autofocus, so it's no surprise that the ZV-E10 has great autofocus as well. The ZV-E10 also has a mechanical shutter, and this is great if you want to do some photography with this camera. You definitely can, even though it doesn't have a viewfinder. That's not really necessary. The only thing that really matters is the mechanical shutter, and because the mechanical shutter is good enough, you'll be able to get crisp and clear photos. And I do plan on getting back into photography with this camera. Another reason why this camera is so great is because it's affordable. I mean, it's only $700, and for a mirrorless camera with as many capabilities as this one has, I think it's definitely a steal. And yeah, I think it's a very good value for the money. Another important feature that this camera has is product showcase mode. So basically what this mode does is if you have a product that you want to show in front of the camera, like for a review video like this one, and you want to make sure that it's in focus, when you turn product showcase mode on, it'll basically keep track of whatever product you show into the camera, and instead of tracking your face, it'll instead track the product that you show in front of the camera. And this is very useful because sometimes the camera can have a hard time focusing on a product that you show in front of it if you don't have product showcase mode on. And this is because it's probably gonna be used to tracking your face or tracking your eyes. So it'll try to keep you in focus instead of the product, but sometimes you don't want that. So whenever you want your product to be in focus instead of your face, then turn product showcase mode on. Now, another very important feature about this camera, and probably the most important feature in my opinion, is that it has a flip out screen. So this means that you can see yourself when you're recording, make sure that you're in focus, make sure that obviously the camera's recording, or like, you know, something stupid didn't happen, like your SD card running out of storage, because that can be very, very annoying. And if you can't see the camera, then you wouldn't know if it stopped recording, if your SD card ran out of storage, and then you would have to record everything all over again. So having a flip out screen makes this easy, so you don't have to worry about if you're in frame or if you're in focus or if the camera is recording. So yeah, I think that a flip out screen in 2024 is pretty much essential, and I think that almost every camera, especially every mirrorless camera, should have one. Now, this camera can also shoot in 4K at both 24 and 30 FPS, but do know that if you want to do 4K at 30 FPS, there will be a slight crop. Now, personally, I think this is amazing since most YouTube videos these days are shot in 4K anyways, and everything is moving towards 4K for social media and video content. So it's great that at this price that this camera can shoot at 4K. Now, I personally shoot at 24 FPS because I like that cinematic look. And if you didn't know, 24 FPS is the frame rate that they use in the movies. And I'm trying to get that film-like look in my videos. I want my videos to look kind of like a movie, you know. I want it to look very cinematic. So yeah, that's why I use 24 FPS. But if you want your footage to look a little more realistic, then you can try out 30 FPS. But like I said, there will be a slight crop to it, but it shouldn't be a deal breaker. This camera can also do 120 FPS at 1080p, and this is great if you want to get some nice, crispy and clean slow motion shots for your videos. So yeah, that 120 FPS will really help with that. And yeah, if you want to get some slow motion shots, that's really, really nice. And the last reason why I think this camera is so great is because it's so small and lightweight. It's easy to carry, the body itself, you know, especially if you want to do vlogging and stuff. It's not going to be heavy, you know, it's easy to hold in your hand, and it's not very big. So, you know, if you're out in public, people aren't really going to notice you that much. It's not going to stand out as much as if you were to have a bigger and heavier camera. So yeah, it's very nice that this camera is very lightweight, easy to pick up, easy to hold, and yeah, it's small, so you can pretty much throw it anywhere, fit in your backpack. I'm pretty sure if I tried, I could even fit it in my pocket, but I'm not gonna try that yet. But yeah, it's very small, very lightweight, very compact, and that just makes it easier to use. Alright, so if you didn't know, the ZV-E10 Mark II, as of the recording of this video, which is July 31st, just released, and you might be wondering, how does it compare to this camera, the original ZV-E10 that I'm recommending? Well, I personally think that this camera is better, and here's why. The first reason is because it's $300 cheaper. This camera, the original ZV-E10, $700, while the Mark II is priced at $1,000 for the camera body only. Now, I think it's pretty disappointing how Sony didn't make the new Mark II the same price as the original, especially since they didn't add that many features to it. Personally, I think the A6700, which is $1,400 for the body, is a much better camera. And if you're looking for a more expensive camera, I think that you should either get that camera or get this camera for $700. But I think that the ZV-E10 Mark II is at a weird price, and I don't think it's worth it for $1,000. And the biggest reason why I don't think it's worth it is because, well, for the Mark II, unfortunately, Sony got rid of the mechanical shutter, which means that the ZV-E10 Mark II is not gonna be as good for photography as the ZV-E10 Mark I is. Now, in my opinion, this is one of the most disappointing facts, and it actually makes the camera that I'm using right now a lot better for photography than the Mark II. So yeah, the fact that the ZV-E10 Mark II doesn't have a mechanical shutter means that the shutter doesn't have a physical shutter, which is going to unfortunately impact your images. You're not going to get as clear and crisp and high quality images with the Mark II, nowhere near as you would get with the Mark I. So yeah, in my opinion, the ZV-E10 Mark II is pretty much pointless for photography. So even if you're mainly a video creator and you want to get into photography on the side like me, you know, I was kind of into photography 3 years ago, but I want to get back into it, then the ZV-E10 Mark I is definitely going to be a better buy, because although it doesn't have a viewfinder, it still has a mechanical shutter, and that's more than enough to get crisp and clear photos. So yeah, for $300, you're actually getting something that the Mark II doesn't have, and you're not losing much. I think the Mark II can shoot in 4K 60. It also has, you know, a touch screen, but in my opinion, those aren't really big upgrades and they don't really matter to me. So yeah, I would just either get the ZV-E10 Mark I or the A6700, because the A6700 is actually an upgrade. You get inbuilt stabilization, you get a mechanical shutter, a viewfinder, AI autofocus, so a lot of features that this camera and the Mark II, neither of them have. So yeah, either get this camera for $700 or get the Sony A6700 for $1,400. But yeah, I think the ZV-E10 Mark II is pretty pointless at $1,000, and I would not buy that camera, even though it's available now. Alright, now for the question, should you buy the original Sony ZV-E10 in 2024? And my short answer to that question is yes. I think that it's an excellent camera for the price. But one thing I forgot to mention is that the battery does run out pretty quickly, so do keep that in mind. You're probably going to want to get extra batteries for this camera. As you can see, I'm recording outside right now. I've only had the camera on for probably like 30-40 minutes since I've been outside, and I've already lost like 30% of battery. So yeah, these batteries will definitely not last you a whole day. If I had to take a guess, probably like 3.5 hours. But yeah, you're definitely gonna want to get extra batteries with this camera and take them with you if you're doing a long shoot. But yeah, I think it's well worth it, especially since it can shoot in 4K with amazing image quality. I mean, for $700 for the camera body, you're getting a very good purchase in my opinion. And yeah, there's a lot of amazing lenses to choose from. You could stick to the kit lens and get that combo for around $800 if you want to save money. But if you really want to level up your video quality, I highly recommend getting an external lens with this camera. Now I'm using the Sigma 16mm f1.4 lens, and that'll run you around $400 usually. So yeah, the whole total price, if you get this lens and the camera, will total to around $1,100. But I think that this is a great setup, especially for talking head videos. Like I was saying, the camera's small and lightweight. It's easy to pick up, move around. If you pair it with the right lens, this camera can be very good for talking head videos. And yeah, like I said, I highly recommend the Sigma 16mm for talking head videos. I think it's one of the best talking head video lenses for APS-C cameras. But yeah, this camera is also really good for vlogging if you do use Catalyst Browse to stabilize your footage. And it's great for photography if you do use the right lens. Now, I do want to get the Sigma 30mm f1.4 for like photography. I heard that lens is great for like street photography and like portrait photography. Since it's really zoomed in, you could get some really nice photos with that lens. So yeah, that lens is basically the more zoomed in version of the Sigma 16mm that I'm using. So yeah, if you want a great photography lens, I mean, I personally haven't used it, but I think I'd recommend the Sigma 30mm lens because I've heard a lot of great things about it when it comes to, you know, portrait photography. And yeah, a lot of people have been saying it's really good for that. So I really want to eventually get my hands on that when I do get the money for it. Yo, what's up guys? Future Issa here. Unfortunately, I messed up the audio for the outro, so I have to record it again today. But anyways, I hope that you found value out of this review, and I really hope that this helped you out. If you're a new content creator and you're really looking to level up your video quality with a new camera, I personally think that the ZV-E10 is the best camera body that you can buy for around the $700 price range. All the features that it comes with makes it seem unmatched to any of the other cameras in the market at this price, in my opinion. But yeah, this ZV-E10 is an amazing camera and it's been serving me well for the past couple of weeks. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, then consider subscribing and turning on notifications if you don't want to miss another video. I'll leave the link to my camera setup, so my camera, lens, in the description below, as well as the link to my kit.co, which has my filmmaking gear if you want to check any of my other gear out. Thank you guys for watching, like always, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.